Most people remember D-Day. They remember Normandy. They remember the beaches, the flags, the victory. But there is a battle in World War II, a victory so important, so brutal, that without it, the war in Europe might have lasted much longer, and yet almost no one talks about it. This is the story of America's forgotten victory in World War II. By the end of 1944, the war in Europe was far from over. Nazi Germany was retreating, but it was not defeated. Hitler knew that if the Allies crossed into Germany, the end would come fast. So he made a desperate decision. He would launch one final massive counteroffensive, a surprise attack meant to split the Allied forces, capture vital supply lines, and force a negotiated peace. The place he chose was unexpected: the Ardennes forest. The Ardennes was cold, dense, quiet. American commanders believed the area was too difficult for a large German attack. So it was lightly defended, mostly by young, inexperienced American soldiers. On December 16, 1944, before dawn, the forest exploded. Artillery, tanks, infantry. Over 200,000 German troops slammed into the American lines. It became known as the Battle of the Bulge. And at the center of that chaos was a small Belgian town called Bastogne. Bastogne was critical. 7 major roads passed through it. If the Germans took the town, they could move freely toward the port of Antwerp and cripple the Allied supply system. The Americans defending Bastogne were quickly surrounded. No reinforcements, almost no food, no winter clothing, very little ammunition. Temperatures dropped below freezing. Wounded soldiers froze to death. And then came the German message, a demand for surrender. The response from the American commander, General Anthony McAuliffe, was just one word: nuts. The soldiers of the 101st Airborne Division held their positions. They fought house to house, tree to tree, foxhole to foxhole. German tanks rolled in close. American soldiers knocked them out with bazookas at point-blank range. Medics ran through open fire to save the wounded. Men shared their last bullets, their last food, their last strength. For days, the skies were gray. No air support, no supplies, just survival. And still, they refused to break. On December 23rd, the weather finally cleared. The sky opened. American aircraft filled the air, dropping supplies, strafing German positions. Hope returned. Then on December 26th, tanks from General George Patton's Third Army broke through the German lines. Bastogne was relieved. Hitler's last gamble had failed. The German army lost over 100,000 men in the Battle of the Bulge. They would never recover. From that moment on, Germany was only retreating. The Battle of the Bulge was the largest and bloodiest battle ever fought by the United States Army. More than 80,000 American casualties. But because of that sacrifice, Germany lost its final offensive capability. The Western Front stabilized. The road into Germany opened. Within months, Berlin would fall. The war in Europe would end. Not because it was easy, but because American soldiers refused to give up. Even when surrounded, even when freezing, even when outnumbered. There are no famous beaches here, no single day of victory, just weeks of cold, fear, and courage. Men who held the line when the world was dark. This was America's forgotten victory, and because of them, freedom survived.